where do I start from? So mimi ndio huyu Rona, I have sat and thought and decided I want to become a DevOps engineer. Where do I start from?
All right. Yeah. Before we answer that, you're asking where should you start from, right? But where are you coming from?
Oh, good question. Hey,
where are you coming
good question. Depends on where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of Global Tech Sellers. We are grateful that you are tuning in to watch us. And today we have a very great episode lined up for you. Sometime back we saw a comment, or rather there was a comment on people were asking if we can bring up the DevOps people, and leo hatukuwasahau guys. Whatever you say, we make it go. So today we have a very amazing guest for our DevOps people. Okay, not just DevOps, but anyone who would even want to venture into DevOps. And I'm gonna give him a chance, our amazing guest, the chance to introduce himself. So hello. Habari yako?
Poa sana.
How are you feeling?
I'm not feeling.
You're not feeling? What do you mean? Just tell us who you are.
Yeah, so I'm Joseph Njogu, a DevOps engineer at Arkride. Yeah, and at Arkride we deal with electric vehicles.
Oh, wow. So you guys can hear. You don't even want autake kutuambia. You need to tell us you have had 10 years of experience.
That was a lot. All right, so I think this is my 8th year in tech, but it did not start as a DevOps engineer. It started as a backend engineer.
Yeah.
Java, then switched to Python.
Yeah.
But as maybe we all know, being a DevOps engineer starts from somewhere.
Yeah.
And the best people who are always suited to be DevOps engineers are the backend guys, because DevOps is more of backend.
Oh.
Yeah, so at Arkride, I think this is my 4th company now working.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not all the companies that I've been working for have been a DevOps engineer. So I think for the last 2 companies, that is Fuga Africa or Cherehani Agriculture, now Arkride.
So we'll get into your story, but you guys can hear is amazing experience, and I really hope that you're gonna, get the best out of it. Our DevOps people, this is your time to make sure you sip out all that knowledge from him. So let me get straight into the episode, and the first question I have for you, Jose, is rather not a question, but I would want you to walk us through your journey, I think you've mentioned a bit of it, but we want now to get the whole picture of it from where it started until where you are right now as a DevOps engineer.
Yeah, sure. So, just like others, I pursued Bachelor of Science in Information Technology.
Like others,
just like others who are many out there.
Yeah.
So I pursued Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. That is from Maseno University.
Yeah.
And from there, I never knew anything about DevOps. So I was a software engineer, to be specific.
So from school, you had already started the software engineering. You had already started coding.
Yeah.
And so by the time you are finishing, you finished Maseno and got into a software engineer job.
In fact, I got into DevOps, software and DevOps engineering. So it all started back in the time when I was in industrial attachment.
Yeah.
And at the company where I was attached, that's where I was trained to be a backend engineer / DevOps engineer. Yeah, a very good company called Savannah Informatics.
Oh my goodness, you guys are the lucky ones. Wakati si tulikuwa KPLC tukipanda miti. Oh my goodness.
We apologize. Yeah, so from there, I think when I was coming out of campus, I was a backend engineer, specifically Java.
Yes.
And some sort of Spring Boot. And it mysteriously changed from from being a Java developer to Python developer at that same time. This was the time I was hunting for an attachment.
Yeah.
And so I got one, to be specific, that is with a good company also. But a story for another day. I went for an interview to get attachment, and I failed the interview. So
Wait, aren't you already in Savannah Informatics at this
no,
point?
I've not started. I'm saying it's in 2019. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just out searching for industrial attachment. And here I am with a company which had promised me a position there.
Oh.
But I don't know what changed along the way. So I went there. I was called for an interview.
Yeah.
And as I'm saying, a story for another day, my interview was like done under a tree shade. So I failed. To the last bit of it. So I failed that interview. And quote unquote, the last statement that I had from the head of engineering.
Yeah.
You know what, Joseph? At this company, we don't like, or we do not love hiring robots. What do you mean by that? He said, yeah, you're doing things, but you don't know what you are doing. You're just like doing them because you are instructed to do them. Yeah, I was frustrated. And I think 3 days later, I had a friend who contacted me. He's a friend from home, village. He's also a software engineer. He told me, you know what? I have a company here. Would you mind if you come? It was on 2nd of May, 2019.
Yeah.
Let's meet. Let's go there. Let's show them what we have.
Yeah.
So he sent me some instructions, and that is when we landed at Savannah Informatics.
Oh.
Yeah, so at Savannah Informatics, a very brilliant guy there, the CTO then,
Yeah.
Dr. Ngure Nyaga, who interviewed us. But I think the intention for that interview was to like make us fail.
Yeah.
Why? Because they want us to give a chance to learn. And that is where my journey started. Yeah, so he gave us the learning path to learn. Okay, we failed the interview there again, but now he told us, now, do you feel how stupid you are like right now? Said, yes. Now,
We feel stupid. We feel stupid.
then he said, now, wake up, join me. We followed him. He took us to a room where we met other 10 guys. And he said, meet your fellow stupid guys. Yeah, so we were now 12. And he left us. We were talking with each other. Then he came back. He said, now guys, you realize that you failed my interview. Yes. But now I'll not throw you out, but I'll give you a chance. I'll give you 3 months. You learn from this office. Then I'll give you another chance to do the interview with me. If you pass, I'll give you a job. Yeah, so fast forward, we learned, we studied, we researched. We were doing morning stand-ups daily, new to us. We never knew those things from campus. Yeah, and 3 months later, we did some sort of a graduation thing where we were doing the tests.
Yeah.
He called them the top 10 tests. And 7 of us passed and we were retained. So even though we were going back to school, we were still working. So in short, we were still earning. And this is from the company where I learned about now Python. I switched from Java to Python.
Yeah.
And in it were like the basics of DevOps. So
Yeah.
I think now from there, he taught us something called learning how to learn. It's a new skill. And yeah, we from there we strived, we learned, we became, others chose to become just backend engineers. Others chose to be DevOps engineers or both. Like for me, I chose both. Others chose both. Others just chose.
So at this point in
backend.
time, you have already gotten also the basics of DevOps engineering.
Yeah, that is at Savannah Informatics. Because as I said, basically for the guys who strive in DevOps are the guys from backend.
Yeah.
Because DevOps is more of backend.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now fast forward to now, after you graduated in Maseno, you now got a DevOps job.
From there, we still had a startup.
Yeah.
Back in Maseno, a very good one. So it's called Crowsoft. And yeah, so there I was working as an infra engineer. Later on, I moved out. I joined another company called Fuga Africa.
As a DevOps
Yeah,
engineer.
DevOps specifically.
So now
DevOps.
you've forgotten the back end
Yeah,
parts.
no, not forgotten.
You've
Put it aside. Put it
yeah.
aside. So
Yeah.
they worked for 3 months.
Yeah.
Because my contract was for 3 months.
Yes.
Specifically to ensure that whatever they built, whatever was like coded, was deployed, monitored, automations were done, and that is what I did for 3 months.
Yeah.
Then from there, I think I stayed out for like 2 months without a job. Then in 2022, July 4th, I landed a job at Accred, where I am still now.
Now as a DevOps engineer.
Now as a software and DevOps engineer.
Software and DevOps
Yeah,
engineer.
right now I do backend. I write APIs.
As well as...
And also as a DevOps engineer.
Thank you. So I think I actually jumped the rope. I need you to explain to me, for someone who is watching and they don't know, we are talking DevOps, and we don't even know kidogo atuelewi DevOps ni nini. So maybe expound to us with the simplest of terms what DevOps means.
All right. Yeah. So DevOps, maybe in a nutshell, how or what it stands for: developers and operations. Now, if you think in this way, we have people like software engineers who will say, like, I'll just write this code, or rather I'll build this API and push it to them operations team. The operations teams, or rather the ops team, are the people who will ensure that this product, which was built by, or rather written by the software engineer, has been deployed, or rather the automations has been done, and say monitoring, or rather running the application.
Yeah.
Now, to bring this into speed, why we have now DevOps, or rather why we want to couple developers and operations team, is to ensure like there is this speedy deployment, speedy release of the product. And again, that is not the thing. You realize that if you're a developer, you're saying, you know what, my work is to code, finish,
and that's it.
Push it to the ops team.
Yes.
Now, when you look at that, you realize that people are working in silos, right? There's no communication. Like say you are Rona, you've built the back end, then you said, you know what, we have Joseph, will come here and do the deployment. What if I'm not around? But now imagine if you involved me during your development. You see, communication, and when you are not working in silos. Now, again, DevOps is not like, we can't say like it's a main thing, or rather like we say it's a standalone thing. It's a culture. We can't say it's not like software engineering where you say, now I'm a software engineer, I'm a backend guy, I write Python, right? As a DevOps engineer, the tools are so many, like you have to like align yourself with the company, not with the tools. It's the company, because different companies use different tools. So if you say like you want to purposely like depend on the tools, or rather focus on the tools, you'll fail. Now, to like scrap whatever I've just said, DevOps is a culture.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a culture that a company builds. Like say, how long do we want to take to build, or rather to ship the products which have been built? Very short time. So what should we adopt? DevOps. Now, the product which was deployed last week is failing, and we are taking too long to like restore it. So what do we need? Like meantime to recovery. So what will come in place? DevOps. So it's just a culture.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for those who are trying to maybe understand this, DevOps is, I think, a coupling of development and operations teams, and this, all of it brings about a culture and a practice or on how to do things. Definitely, if you define culture is a way of doing things, right? Yeah. And DevOps is a culture.
Whoa, point brought home. So I really hope you've understood that. So Jose, we have now understood what DevOps means, and our objective for this particular episode is to help someone who is trying to get into DevOps, a very we are not focusing on the senior people.
Okay.
We are trying to talk to someone who is trying to figure out what DevOps in. So I want you to maybe guide us, or rather tell them where do I start from? So mimi ndio huyu Rona, I have sat and thought and decided I want to become a DevOps engineer. Where do I start from?
All right. Yeah. Before we answer that, you're asking where should you start from, right? But where are you coming from?
Oh, good question. Hey,
where are you coming
good question. Depends on where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah.
Let's say I am. Let's take the basics of people, or rather, I have just finished my KCSE.
Okay.
Yes.
And you want to get into DevOps?
Yes, I have. I want to get into DevOps.
All right. I think we'll tackle it in this way.
Yeah.
From your perspective, or rather from where you are coming from, you just finished KCSE. I assume you are not into software engineering,
Yes.
right? And I'll also take it in this approach. You are already a software engineer, and maybe you are a system admin.
Oh, okay? Yeah. Oh, two perspectives, yes.
Not two, three.
You
are not a software engineer. You are a software engineer, and you are a system admin.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, coming from you just finished your KCSE. Sorry, guys, but not if. Or rather, I would say, let's assume you just finished your KCSE and you want to get into DevOps.
Yeah.
You will only be lucky, but wanasema mlango bahati ya mwenzio usilalia mlango wazi. But most companies, okay, let me move to that end. Most companies want to hire people who have the basics, or rather the fundamentals of software engineering. Okay.
Yeah.
And not just that, again, imagine, or rather, maybe if I put it like this, most people who are hiring, it's not the company which is hiring, it's the teams hiring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a team here. We are building this software, and my tech lead, or rather my CTO, have told me, now, Joseph, you know what? Go out there, look for a DevOps engineer who you would want to work with. So here, quote unquote, referrals. Now, Rona here just finished high school.
Yes.
Got into DevOps, but does not know about software engineering.
I don't even know how I got to DevOps.
All right.
Because now I think I need to go, from what I'm getting, I need to probably go back first and study software engineering so that it can be easier for me to transit to DevOps.
Yeah, and as I said, the best people suited for DevOps are the backend guys, right? Okay, in software engineering, there's this thing called the buzz factor. You know the buzz factor?
No. Educate me.
I'm not talking about software engineering, but now the buzz factor here, we have Rona, we have Joseph, we have another guy here. You are supposed to deliver on a certain module, or rather you have a module you're supposed to deliver so that you can deploy the product, right? But you're still not done yet, right? But we are a team, and a team works as a team.
Yeah.
Now we want to storm into your work so that we can finish very early or very fast. But now imagine this guy, or Rona, does not have the fundamentals of software engineering. How will she help us, surely?
Oh my goodness.
Now, in that perspective, we as a team, we want to move, or rather in a team, they want to move with people who can be at any given point in that software development life cycle, right?
Yeah.
It's a cycle, right?
Yeah.
So we don't just want a person who can just stand there at the entrance like an usher.
I get
okay?
you need to be
all around.
Yeah.
And the key thing here is not to be, it's not to be all around.
Yeah, but
yes, we want you to be there, but if I'm messing here, you can tell me, you know what, Joseph, you are messing there. Why? Because you know how to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, now, so in terms of being employed or hired, it will be difficult for you. You'll start saying, you know what, akinimetama kukunje, hakuna kazi za DevOps, kazi ziko. The problem is, where did you start, or where were you coming from when you started? Okay. Then let's move now to someone with the background of software engineering.
Yeah.
He or she is a software engineer.
Yeah.
That person is well suited for being employed or being hired. Now, the difference between him or maybe her and you, is that they started, or rather they came from somewhere any other person would want, or whoever is hiring would want to hear from. Hear like, okay, you came from software engineering. Oh, nice.
Okay.
So you know how to build. The only thing you maybe you added to yourself is now to ship. Because with the story yenye nimepeana hapo kwanza, like we want someone who can be all around.
Yes.
It's because most companies want to believe in this thing, quote unquote. You build it, you ship it, and you run it. Okay?
Build,
you as Rona,
run.
you can build, you can ship, and you can
run.
You can run. Yeah. So it will be well suited for you in terms of employment. Okay?
Yeah.
Then there's this other person who is very well suited for such a role, is the system admin.
Yeah.
You realize that DevOps is the modern system administration, right? Yeah. So those are 3 categories of the people which I think may be aspiring to be DevOps, or rather they are into DevOps. And now the only difference is when it comes to hiring. But as I said, when starting, bahati ya mwenzio usilalie mlango wazi. Yeah, you might have come from high school, you did DevOps, who knows?
But how did you do DevOps? How do you get?
Yeah, kunazo.
How do you move from high school and get to DevOps?
Yeah, you know what? Okay, honestly, I don't know what you want to ship, because okay, it's difficult. Why did you first of all get into DevOps? I don't know. Maybe you are like inspired by someone. So you said like, yeah, I want to get into DevOps. I want to do what Jose is doing, and maybe just forget the other bit of software engineering. Yeah, but again, as I said, connections.
Okay.
Right? Referrals. Let me not call it connections, but let me call it referrals.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think now we know. I think what I am getting from all that is that it would be easier for you to transit to DevOps if you already have the software engineering skills. And remember, as Jose said, you need to. We want you said the bus factor.
Yeah.
We don't want someone who can you're just there.
Yeah, we don't want someone causing a bus factor.
You need to have a well-rounded person who knows at least everything. So now that you have given them, where now do you have any sort of courses or certifications you can refer people to start from we have already established you need the software engineering practices now, but for now we are assuming I have already learned that. So for the DevOps, are there any certifications? I don't know, school, did you self-learn? Okay, for you learned on the job. But for any other person, do you advise on certifications that someone can take up to now become a DevOps engineer? Ama unasema enda huko, fanya hizi practicals, or ama any sites you might have resources to help someone now who is trying to get into DevOps. Put in mind huyu mtu already akona software engineering. So already akona grounding. All
right. Yeah. So right now, as I said, the training or the very best skill that I came out with at Savannah Informatics
is learning how to learn.
Okay. But let's assume you want like to be identified, or rather you don't want to like go through a lot of jargons trying to convince people that you know DevOps, right? So what should you do? You'll have to present to them certifications, right?
Yeah.
But the question is, do we really have a certification called DevOps?
There's none. There's no certification called DevOps. So what can I learn then?
Okay, you'll find that like if you go to Udemy, you'll find that they have something like DevOps Basics, Advanced DevOps, right? But what exactly is in those certifications that they are calling basics and advanced? Okay. But before we get into that, someone who wants to get into DevOps, you want to go to a school to learn, or rather into a boot camp. Think right now we have Moringa School. Quote, I'm not advertising Moringa School, but yeah, we have Moringa School where they are doing DevOps as a course. I think it's the best place to be. Again, if you really want to learn, if you're not in Moringa School, you have communities. Like we have the Nairobi DevOps community.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You get to learn a lot from that community. And again, the co-founder of that community is the technical mentor at Moringa School. So well covered, right?
Yeah.
Now that is if you want to go somewhere and learn. Now you are a software engineer or a system admin, learning how to learn. Know what, okay, as I said, when starting, align yourself with the company or rather the market, not the tools. Because in DevOps, even if we are saying it's a culture, it's all about the tools. The tools that you are using to like be in that culture or rather to satisfy the culture, right? Now, let's assume here, let's say there's a company and the tools that we use, we say we are cloud first organization. So anything we do is on cloud, right? So, but who is the provider of the cloud that we are using? GCP, AWS, Azure, right? Alibaba, etc. Now, maybe say we as a company, we use GCP, right? Then from there we say, for us, we go the server way. We don't go the serverless way. So we use the VM instances, right? How do we provision those VM instances? We use Terraform, right? Or maybe use Ansible. As I'm saying this, know the tools that I'm mentioning, okay?
I see.
We use Terraform and we use Ansible, right? Then our source code, where is it located? Is it in Bitbucket? Is it in GitLab? Is it in Mercury? Is it in GitHub? Where is it? Say ours is in GitHub, right? From there, what operations or rather what operating systems do we use? Because each and every company has their own like conventions of doing things. Like we say here, all our developers should be using Linux, right? But now you go to a company where they have that freedom to choose the operating system they want to choose. But as a DevOps engineer, Linux is the always get the tool to go for, right? We want to use Linux. So here you want to start, align yourself with the organization you are working for if you're already a software engineer, or maybe a high schooler who is Rona here. Align yourself with the market, right? Which are the most commonly used tools? Again, how will you know a commonly used tool, or rather the best tool to use? Okay, quote unquote, the right tool to use. The right tools to use are the tools with the highest community support. You don't want to be asking questions and you're not getting answers. Okay, you want like to have the community support, right?
So maybe tell us which ones are these. Quote them to kidogo, maybe 2 or 3, which have, from your experience, have the highest community support.
All right. Now, before I know that, Rona, let's go back to what I was saying from like the tools and everything. You realize that we started with the cloud, right?
Yes.
And we have, so it's multi-cloud. You are starting from somewhere. So learn all the cloud providers. If you're not in a company, if you are in a company, you know what you use in your company. But now someone starting from somewhere now, learn all the cloud providers, learn how to use them, right? Get certifications. Now you asked which certifications should people get, right? So we have cloud certifications for all of them, be it Azure, be it GCP or AWS. Get certifications for that, get certified. So you are certified, you are a cloud certified developer, associate, professional, right? From there now, learn the tools to interact with those cloud services, right? And now we talked about multi-cloud, rather we talked AWS, Azure, and GCP. So what tools should you learn? Multi-cloud tools. Like for example, if you wanted to learn, you want to provision a cloud service, right? And you say, you know what, Joseph, I know about cloud formation. Okay, where do you want to work? You say cloud company A. Which cloud provider do they use? GCP. Are you aligned? Really? Like cloud formation is for AWS, right? So you just limited yourself in a bucket where you are saying, I just know about AWS. But what should you know? What should you do? Rather, learn a tool which can interact with all the cloud services. You don't want to limit yourself. So instead of going for cloud formation, go for Terraform, which is multi-cloud. Now, instead of going for something like what I'll say, for configuration management tool that will limit you from using other cloud providers, go for the best ones. We have 3 main ones. We have Ansible, which I think is the best.
Mm-hmm.
I use Ansible all the way.
Yeah.
With many reasons to support it. We have Puppet and we have Chef.
Yeah.
So according to the company now, if you are aligning yourself to the company, choose any.
Yeah.
Provided it's used by the company you are choosing, right?
Yeah.
Again, you are doing source code or rather source version controlling, right? So what is being used by many people out here? Most people are using GitHub, right? But what are companies using?
What are companies using?
Companies out here are using GitLab or rather Bitbucket, right? Bitbucket, you ask yourself, will I go learning other tools for say DevOps is always DevOps will always start at CI/CD, right?
Okay.
Now
Yeah.
at CI/CD, what tools are used for CI/CD or platforms that we have for CI/CD? We have GitLab CI. So if your company is using GitLab, well suited.
Yeah.
GitLab CI. If your company uses maybe say GitHub or rather you just using GitLab, you have Circle CI, you have Jenkins, you have Bamboo, you have Travis City. But the question would be, if they are not using GitHub or GitLab, what are they using? Maybe they're using Bitbucket. So with that, align yourself. So should you go for Jenkins or should you go for the likes of Bamboo?
Yeah.
A question for the thought, right?
Yeah.
Or rather, it's the food for the thought. Yeah, so let's now go back to your question.
Yeah.
Name 3 commonly used, right? So for configuration management, go for Ansible. This is written in Python. So Python. Again, you realize that for a DevOps engineer, you have to have a programming language for scripting purposes.
Yeah.
Python, Go, or Ruby.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ansible is written in Python, so you have Ansible there. For provisioning, go for Terraform.
Yeah.
Okay.
Terraform.
For provisioning of
Yeah.
services, go for Terraform. Now for version control, learn Git.
Learn Git.
I'm not saying
Learn
GitHub,
Git.
GitLab, or Bitbucket.
Yeah,
I'm saying
Git.
learn Git. Why? Because all the tools or rather the platforms I've named, they use Git.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be it Bitbucket, be it GitLab, be it GitHub,
they all use Git
as technology, right?
Yeah.
So learn Git. What else? For CI/CD now, learn something to do with Circle CI, learn about Jenkins, learn about GitLab CI. 3 main ones. But now again, if you are into Bitbucket, go for Bamboo all the time. Yeah.
Wow, I think that's very comprehensive, guys. I hope that you've been able to just point out the tools that have been said, and now you have like a place to start from. As we are maybe coming to the end, I would want Jose tell us some of the some of the career opportunities that are in DevOps. Are there, because maybe inside DevOps kuna some other 2 branches here and there. So maybe tell us a little bit about that, the career opportunities in DevOps.
Okay. I would not say the way we've put it. Ama nisema kwa Kiswahili sitaiweka venye umeiweka. Like some
Iweke
other
venye
careers
unataka.
inside DevOps.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe different people have different understandings, right? But this is how I understand it. It's different people from different other fields coming to join the DevOps. Okay. Now, say you've a certification in cloud. You are maybe say AWS certified associate developer, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe professional. But are you really getting a job in that certification? No. So what do? You join DevOps, because I said it's all about the tools. You realize that whatever you covered in that certification is all we have in DevOps.
Yeah.
Now you are coming into DevOps, but with a different flag.
Yeah.
Or rather hat in your head, right? Yeah. So again, you'll find that we have a backend engineer who is into DevOps. So it's someone from backend coming into DevOps. But it will be, I think, very hard for someone starting from DevOps going back to others. Again, Why am I saying this? Because out here, something that I've learned in the job market, it's not about your prowess. It's not about the languages you know. It's about delivering. Okay?
Delivering.
It's about delivering. Because if you're not delivering,
Then what are
we
you
have no
doing?
business.
If you're not delivering, guys, what are you doing?
Yeah, so we have back-end engineers joining DevOps. We have even front-end engineers who want to switch coming into DevOps. We have cloud engineers. We have system admins coming into DevOps. Again, you realize that where, okay, or rather it's a question, where is a lot of time taken in the life cycle of software engineering?
Is it deployment?
No.
The coding part?
No.
Development?
No. Okay, let's put it this way. You realize that you do sprints or you have Scrum or rather Kanban to manage the development period, right?
Yes.
So it means it has a deadline.
Yes.
But which part does not have a deadline? Even deployment has a deadline. But when it comes to running now, the running of the application, right?
The running of the application.
Yeah, now
it doesn't have a
Yeah, the application has already been deployed and it's being used by the users, right?
Yeah,
that is the time when it takes a lot of time, like almost forever, right?
Yeah.
And you realize when it's running, we still need people there. We need DevOps engineers there, and we also need, say, the SREs, or it's DevOps / SREs, right? Yeah, so you need to know how to monitor. You need to know how to use the tools like Grafana, which we've not said here, Grafana and Prometheus, or maybe New Relic or Datadog.
Oh my goodness. There's so many tools, guys. I
Yeah,
can't even keep up, but we are learning. We are learning.
Yeah, so you get to learn how to run. No, not learning now. Run. Yeah,
Okay,
running now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learn how to run. Oh, to run the application.
Yeah, apart from, like you may think that DevOps is all about deployment and automation and setting up the tools. Not just about that. It's now ensuring that whatever we deployed, or rather is running in production, is as is supposed to be.
Wow.
Like its state, the metrics, the logs, the traces are clean as we want them to be. So you're just monitoring.
Awesome. That's it's like a lifetime job, in short, because it has no deadline. But now we know. So lastly, I think I want you to just give a parting shot to someone, encourage someone who is trying to join in, or rather to get into DevOps. Just a parting shot from all that you have spoken about. What would you tell them?
Yeah, this is what I would say. Any software which is built is meant to be shipped into production. And if the developers are not there to ship it, we need a DevOps engineer to ship it. This means don't just sit there and say we don't have jobs in DevOps, or rather say we have a lot of DevOps engineers out here. No, you'll be lost. This software needs to be deployed, needs to be shipped, and they also need to be monitored in production. So guys, just learn how to learn and you'll be in for it. Get good in what you do, and definitely you'll get noticed.
Yeah.
Also, as the software engineers say, build in public. I hope you know what they mean by that. Also be in public, tell people what you know, let people support you, and get the jobs.
Yeah. I think my key takeaway from this is you need to learn how to learn, not run this time. You need to learn how to learn, guys. So I hope that we have gotten a lot to start us off in our DevOps journeys. And once you start off, please eka hapo comment tuseme hapo Jose alinisaidia. It would be nice. Other than that, it was nice getting to have you, and I hope that once again I hope that you've gotten the most out of these. We are Global Tech Sellers in all platforms: TikTok, Instagram, we are everywhere, guys. Spotify, tuko kila mahali. Just where could they find you if people want to look for you, reach out to you? Where can they find you?
On X, Joseph Njogu
487. 487. Unapatikana to X.
Ah,
Yeah,
nipate
it's
tu
okay.
huko.
So if you want to find him, there is his hashtag there. Otherwise, I will see you, or I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.